All right, we'll start fresh. Amazing, amazing. All right, Dennis, how are you? And Daniela. Awesome, people are trickling in. Let me make sure that I get the message to everyone here. Cool. So we'll give it just a few more minutes for more people to hop on. Just a few quick things. So for those of you that can come on video, I love to see your pretty faces. That way we can have a little bit more of a conversation versus just me talking to a wall. I'd love that. Love to see how you guys are and how you're doing. Awesome. I see you, Clark. Thank you. Thank you. Cool. So today we're going to go over a couple different things. I've got a story for you on how I almost destroyed my agency and how I thankfully recovered it. So we're going to go through that. We're going to talk about the ups and downs of an agency business and see a few more people. So Dennis, we've got Daniela and Clark here. Oh, more people popping in. Allison, Scott. All right. So we're going to start out with some wins, but just to give you guys some context on this call. So this is your Thursday agency scaling call. On this call, we'll walk through how to build an agency service business. Now, the Tuesday call is with Charles. He walks through how to build a SaaS platform only. So that's where this whole service is just the CRM. This call is for how to do an agency service. Now, what that means is we do done for you. This could be advertising. It could be also doing CRM build outs. Being on both calls are going to be just as valuable for you no matter which track you're on. So something on here, it might be the same concept that might apply to on the SaaS side and vice versa. So if you're here, I'm excited to have you here. We're going to talk through a couple things. So every Thursday at 4 is going to be the agency call. Excited to see some new faces here. That's so great. We also have a couple things as reminders. Number one, you do have a training portal. Obviously go through it as much as you can. And when you hop on these calls, I'm always going to have Q&A at the end. Okay. So I'm here to help answer your questions, anything that you have. But today we're going to start with some wins. So I want to hear some wins from you guys this week. And a win can be anything from you had a great conversation to you closed a deal to you got clarity on a direction that you're wanting to go. So give me some wins. You can come off a mic and let's hear what you got.
Give a start. I got a win this week.
Awesome.
Closed a 90-day cold email campaign running through both high level and other services that we're putting together. So it was a good week.
Wow, that's awesome. So you're doing cold email outreach for them?
I'm actually doing cold outreach that starts on the outside and then pushes everything into high level for the CRM to do further social media and everything else. So it's a 2-scaled package.
Amazing. Congratulations on that. That's awesome. Really cool.
Yeah, I had a win, I guess I can talk about. One of the niches that I work in is home healthcare, and they have they buy leads from places. There's a company called Aging Care that provides leads for them, but just like a lot of the lead services, they sell it to 8 or 10 people at a time. And so speed to lead is the main thing. So what I've done is I've created a parsing program that the email, I have them send their email that they normally notify them with to my email address. And then we parse it and then we take it into high level with a webhook. And then from there, it automatically calls the office and tries to connect them right away and then tracks it if they don't get it and so forth. So it's a real nice little service. And, this is my second one of those. And so I'm trying to see if maybe that might be something that I, do a lot of. So we'll see. It seems like a real valuable process for them.
That's huge. I love that. Yeah, that speed to lead is so important. We've seen so many stats that show over 50%, depending on the industry, sometimes 70% of the people who will go with the person that first got in contact with them. So I love that. That's a great setup. Congrats on that. That's really cool. Awesome. What other wins do we have this week?
I have one.
All
Hi.
right, let's do it. Hey.
I've been getting things ready and I am almost done and I should be launching on Tuesday. So
Ooh.
I worked out a lot of technical kinks. I'm working with chatbots and Go High Level and paid ads. So I'm bringing it all together. I got my website up. I've got everything just finally, it's like I've been prep cooking for quite a while. And so now I've got the feast ready to go. So I'm really looking forward to getting some business in the door and actually starting to activate. So I'm really excited right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. I don't think I've seen you around before. Did you just join the group?
Yeah, I came in last through the Extendly special.
Yeah.
And I'm passing my level 3 certification through them. So I'm really stoked right now. Everything's finally just, it's felt like it's been a slog, but I'm finally got here. So but yeah, I've only I don't think I've come to this one. I've been coming to the Tuesday one. I just haven't time-wise been able to work this one out, but yeah.
Sure.
So
Well, excited to have you here. And congrats on that. That's huge. It's definitely worth it when you go through that grind and finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's such a relief. It's so fun to see. So
yeah.
congrats on that. That's really
How do
cool.
you deal with the panic of it, failing when you actually get the clients in the door and
Well,
things
that's when
not
the fun
working out, or does
begins.
that ever go away?
Yeah, you just get more levels of fun, we call it.
I like
Oh,
that.
that's great. Well,
Nice
congrats on
meeting
that.
you.
Yeah,
Nice meeting
absolutely.
you.
All right. Any other wins before we jump into
Yeah, I have one.
awesome.
Congratulations, Daniela. That sounds really exciting. Yeah, I've been trying to get a meeting with a local business coach for months now, and finally have one scheduled in for next week. And I don't want his business, I want his client's business, because they actually fit perfectly within sort of my niche. So that was actually, to finally get a meeting with him was pretty exciting. So
Wow, congrats. That's amazing. So that's coming up this week, or when is that?
next week, yeah,
Next week?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Amazing.
Tuesday,
Well, I'd
my
love to
time, not yours. So,
I'd love to see you next week and we hear about the wins that you had. That's amazing.
yeah, sounds good.
Well, congratulations. I love it. Cool. Any others before we jump into the story and some Q&A? Awesome. Guys, this is amazing. I love hearing these stories, these wins, because for me, that's just the life of a business. You got to have those wins along the way and have that momentum that gets built up. And without that, it's not as worth it. So love hearing from you guys, and I love celebrating with you guys. So every week when we go through the wins, I just want to hear from you. Give me all the good stuff that you got. I think it's a lot of fun. We can all share our energy and the successes along the way. So great. So here's what we're going to do on this call. So this call is going to be a little bit different. What I typically do is I'm going to go through training, show you a certain part of the business and how to improve it and get better at it. We've done a lot of prospecting in the past. Today, I'm just going to walk you through my agency story, give you a couple examples, a couple lessons that I learned along the way. And at the very end, we're going to open it up to Q&A. So any questions you guys have for me, there's nothing that's off limits. So ask away when we get to the very end. I'm going to kind of go through my story and a couple things that I learned, and hopefully it'll help you guys as you're building your business as well. So just to give you some background, so I started my marketing agency. It's been 13 years now. So 13 years ago, I started out and wanted to get into website development. And I thought, okay, great, this is good. Businesses need websites, and that's how I'm going to sell them to get more customers. I quickly realized that I couldn't get my own customers. And it was like, wait, I thought the website thing was supposed to get the customers. And in reality, it was a good lesson for me that, website is very, very important to have for branding. But it doesn't mean that you get people in the door. You've got to have a place where people show up. It's not like you set a yard out front and suddenly everybody just drives in because it's like a store on the highway. You got to have a place where people see it to come in. So that's where we eventually got into advertising. So we typically do Facebook and Instagram advertising. We're also doing some TikTok as well. So just to give you some background on that. Now, what I did is once I learned about this advertising thing, I thought, you know what, this is really, really, really huge. And I got to the point where I didn't figure it out yet for myself. And I was really struggling. I made the leap. I quit my job and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this thing. This is huge. I'm on top of the world. And yet I couldn't bring in any customers in. And as a result, I ended up having no money. I barely could afford meals. I got to the point where I was literally just scraping for food. I was like going outside. I saw there was like avocado trees where I was living. I like pull avocados off and just, eat that down and, just try to do what I can to make it. And what I realized is if I don't do what I promised to do for my clients, then it's not going to work. Like I need to make sure that I can actually do the thing that I'm promising my clients as well. So I really dived into the advertising thing and, Facebook and Instagram. And what we did was once I turned advertisements on, we really learned how to tweak that out. We blew up. So we went from just me by myself to over 10 employees. We had about 4 or 5 new agency clients coming in, paying us an average $1,500 to $2,000 a month of new business every single month. So we were really doing well. We had a lot of cash coming in. Things were great. And I had, finally picked a niche. I picked one industry, and that's when things just kind of just took off because I had focused on one thing, become the expert at it. Now, I had all this business coming in, all this cash flow. I paid myself almost $200,000 of take-home income, and that was great. I was doing awesome. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of chaos going on. I just feel like I'm being pulled a million different directions. Like there's just so much. There's fires here, fires there. I can't even focus on waking up and just having 5 minutes to myself, and it just got chaotic. There was cash coming in, that was great, but I was stressed out of my mind. Like I started losing hair, like there was a whole bunch of things that was happening. And I really got to a point where I thought, you know what? I think I figured something out, but I think I'm in the wrong business or I'm in the wrong industry. And I started thinking about that more. And I was like, you know what? A lot of these people, they don't have money. It's not, it's hard to make it work. Sometimes people just won't put the effort in. Even I do everything that I can in my power. They just won't do the work. And I really got to the point, guys, where I thought, you know what? It's just my industry. I'm just in the wrong industry. So my mistake was where I almost burned the agency down. I thought, you know what? I've got all the things I need. I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to change niches. I'm just going to go jump over to another industry because I know what I'm doing. And once I made the switch, I told the team, I said, look, we're going this different direction. I can't begin to tell you the amount of chaos and terror that happened when we started burning cash. Things just started going crazy. It was a brand new industry. So we had to learn whole new funnels. We had to learn how to bring in new customers. We had to do all this stuff. And we just started losing cash really fast. And I was literally starting to see what it was like when I first started. And it was literally like, wow, I'm going back to, I can't afford any food again. I figured this whole thing out. I was like, I worked so hard to get to this point, and now it's just going down the trash. And it got really painful for me. And to be honest with you, I didn't know what to do. Like I was like, I thought it was the industry. So I made the switch, and then suddenly I'm solving all these little problems. Like there's little problems every day that it's getting better, but it's not making a big difference, right? Like we all have those activities where we just feel like, oh, it's a busy day, but sometimes that busy really isn't a productive busy. A lot of times it's just we do the fun things or we do the things that are easy to fix, but in reality, that doesn't change the direction of the business or make improvements for us. So I say all this to say, we did that for a year. We tried a new industry, and I realized I just wasn't looking at the picture at the same in the right way. And I want to walk you through what I kind of realized. So do you guys know Alex Hormozi? Alex Hormozi is a really famous guy. He's online. He's talking about marketing. He's always talking about businesses. I see a couple head nods. So he talked about this a couple years ago in some of his videos. And I just wanted to share with you guys just to give you some concept. So for those of you that might be struggling right now, or even if you're just in the beginning stages of your business, I want to show this to you to show that, look, it's not that you're in a wrong industry, you're not in the wrong business. You know, maybe you're even considering is marketing the right business for me? Is SaaS the right business for me? Hopefully this will give you some clarity on what that looks like. So here's what Alex Hormozi talks about in his video. He said there's basically only 3 elements for you to be successful. And that is to have the right beliefs, to have the right character traits. I'm getting blurry here. Be right back. The right character traits and the right skills. What that means is you need to have a belief that you can do what you're trying to accomplish. You must have that. If you don't have that, then the rest of it's gone. If you don't believe that you can build a successful business, if you don't believe you can build a business that's sustainable without your help, you're going to make sure that you don't do that. I think it's Napoleon Hill that said, I think, therefore I am. It could be Shakespeare, or it could be Abraham Lincoln. I don't know. Internet always switches things up. But belief is really, really important. The second thing is character traits. What is it you do daily? What is your habits to build your business? Look, I know I do this all the time. Every time a fire comes up, I stop what I'm doing, focus on the fire, and it feels good to solve the problem. It's like, you know what? I did something good for the business today. But a lot of times, one of my favorite quotes is, what's urgent is seldom important, but what's important is seldom urgent. So when you get something that's a big fire or something that's really hitting you and you're like, wow, I got to focus on this thing. A lot of times that thing is going to pass. A lot of times that thing is not really going to move you forward the next 2, 3, 5 years. Now it's important to pay attention to that and maintain that for sure. But just keep in mind that what's urgent isn't always the most important thing for you to focus on. So that's the character traits. And then the skill sets. You can have all the belief in the world. You can be doing constant activity, working 12 hours a day. If you don't have the skill set to build the business, it's not going to work. So that's it. It's just those 3 things. And here's what I realized. For me, I had a belief to be able to make the business work. I had some of the character traits. I wasn't perfect. Still am not. But what I realized is if I'm wanting to change niches or change direction or change something because something doesn't seem to work, maybe I need to step back and assess, where am I at in my journey, right? You don't just suddenly wake up with no business skills and build $100 million business tomorrow. There's a lot of things you've got, a lot of skill sets you have to learn, a lot of traits and habits you've got to build up. So if you're struggling right now, or if you're dealing with something that you're just not sure where to go, or there's no clarity, or you don't feel like, something's not right here, be aware, it could be just one of these things. And so what I realized for me is my skill sets were a certain level. So when I thought about switching, and when I did make that switch to the other industry, what happened is my skill sets were still this high. So I just made the switch to a different industry. Watch this. I moved over to a different industry. My skill sets were only here. So I ran into the same exact problem that I had in my current industry. I had the same exact issue because I still didn't have more skill sets. I didn't know how to deliver for the client better. I didn't know how to bring in more clients. I didn't know how to do branding, how to do operations fulfillment, any of that stuff. And literally, I just jumped because I thought, you know what? It's the opportunity that I'm in. And let me tell you guys, I've consulted hundreds of marketing agencies at this point. And there are literally almost no industries where there's not money to be made, where there's not a good business to build that's good for the client, good for you. It's really just about learning the industry and adapting to it, making it the best in that current situation. So all I want you to take away from this is it's not just about being in the right opportunity. It's sometimes about building your skill sets up. And by the way, when you build your skill sets up, your beliefs also go up. Your character traits can also go up too, right? So it all can help each other. So all this to say, if there's one takeaway I want you to have from this is, if you feel like something is not right now, or something's not working, take a look. Is it a skill that you might be missing? Is it a habit that you aren't doing? Or is it a belief that's holding you back? Most likely it's one of those 3. And don't make such quick assumptions. Don't jump to things if you're not sure if it's something else. So hopefully these 3 traits and 3 areas can help give you some clarity. So I'm going to stop there. In the end, we've thankfully turned the business around. We went back into the industry that we were in, and we're doing better than ever. We're on track to do twice as much as we did before, and it's because I decided to go back and just level up my skill. Really, that was the only thing that was missing for me. And yeah, you can do the same thing as well. So I'll stop it there. Hopefully that was insightful. Hopefully that was helpful. Wanted to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys, let you know. Look, we all make mistakes, and that's how we learn. So that was a big lesson for me. But I wanted to open up to you guys. Was there anything that came up when I was talking about this? Anything that stood out to you in your situation that maybe you're thinking about now?
Yeah. So pretty much in my situation over here, like I would run into the similar kind of stuff because I would constantly want to switch different niches. Like for instance, I would start with music, and then I went from like med spas, then I went to chiropractors, and in reality, I just learned to just, you know, really just narrow down and stick with chiropractors, and really just focus on that because we have the right connections. We already have someone in our network. We have access to that, and ultimately not focusing on the right activities as well. Like overthinking prospecting was holding us back because we were constantly focusing on, you know, doing stuff with content and trying to do like outbound marketing stuff. But in reality, like what Brian has like showed us in like some other workshops is like focus on like doing the outreach and really just creating those conversations, because that should be your milestones if you don't have 10 to 20 opportunities on the table. So like I totally agree with you with that, and I'm starting to see, like now that I'm starting to focus on one specific niche and one specific result and offer, that I'm able to have clarity on what I'm trying to convince to my audience and my target persona.
I love that. Thank you for that.
No
That's
problem.
great. Yeah, you know, it reminds me of the quote, and I say this all the time, guys. I fear not the man who has 1,000 different kicks, but I fear the man who kicks the same kick 1,000 times. It's just much more powerful, much more impactful. Awesome. Anything else come up for anybody? Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that.
I guess for me, confirmation as to why I'm here. So, because I'm here for 2 things, really on that. One is sort of the habits, because man, I just love doing the work in the business rather than on the business. So I just have to get the habit of pulling myself out of that. And then the other one is really just some upskilling. So yeah.
I love that. That's great. Cool. Anybody else? What comes up for you? Is anybody stuck on something right now? Were you considering switching things or changing things up, or have you figured out the niche? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so my question will come around the selection of niche. Like when starting out, is it are you suggesting that we should stick to a specific niche, or we should like try to get into different businesses? Then once we get comfortable with one specific one, then we can build our skills around that, and you can now focus more on that niche.
Mm-hmm.
When starting out, you don't know what niche is going to be more that will align with your skills and maybe the purpose of your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so I'll give you some ideas on that. I'll tell you the most ideal. There's ideal, but then there's also real world, right? There's sometimes you have to do what you have to do, right? So The most ideal type of business, and I'll kind of paint the picture for you. And I see your background as a chatbot. You know, it applies there too, right? Like with SaaS as well, you can get more general and work with multiple niches in SaaS if you're not doing the delivery work. But it still would be better to have one niche. So I'll give you an example. So if you have one focus, then you can get really good at that industry. You can speak to that person even more in depth. I'll give you an example. So when we talk to people in our industry, so let me switch industries. We'll say that I'm in plumbing. So if I was a plumbing marketing company, who do you think a plumber would want to go with? Someone who specializes in plumbing, does that all day, every day, has hundreds of success stories in plumbing, or the person who says, yeah, I can build out something for you, but I've never worked with your industry before? It would clearly be the person who's been doing plumbing for years, right? So that's the, you know, just from the front, just from your prospects talking to you, if you have that one thing, you're the expert. You know, if you look at the top billionaires in the world, there was one thing they got really good at, right? Warren Buffett got good at investing. You know, if you look at Bill Gates, Microsoft, technology, that was his thing, right? Whoever the person is, they got really good at that one thing. That's what they became known for. So if you can be that person, you can beat out all of your competition all day, every day. So that's the first part. The second part, just to get more specific to your question, when you're delivering for them too, if you have something specific for them, you can create funnels all day long that look nice, but it's that detail, it's the nuance of their industry that you can make a big difference for them. There's a lot of things you can do that if you just scratch the surface, you'll never get that depth. So Remy, to answer your question, the most ideal is to do that, is to pick one and go with it. And as soon as you can do that, the better. But there's also reality. Sometimes you might, if you need cash coming in, if you need, you know, cash to be able to support yourself, to make sure the business can continue, that happens too. I did the same thing in the beginning. I had no niche in the very beginning. And I worked with anybody who came my way, anybody who was in my network. I did BNI networking meetings. I did all of that stuff. And, you know, there's definitely a period of, if you need to do that, but know that if you want the most efficient business, the highest margin business, where you're the expert and you're really good at doing that thing, picking a niche is the best way to go. So hopefully that answers, you know, a little bit, but does that help?
Sure. It does.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hey, what I've been doing, I've got like 20 customers, and my niche, as I would describe it, is solopreneurs. So it's kind of not like a plumber or whatever. It's people that are on their own, specifically building a business, and it has to be a real business, not some minor thing. And the advantage of that is that I've had so far is I really enjoy working with individuals and helping them. And as it turns out, if you think about it, there's a core set of things that almost every solopreneur and business needs, you know, calendars, and all, you know, all that kind of stuff, and putting it together and helping them put a process together. Having said that, I also realized that at about 20 people, that's all I'm interested in handling that way, because it is a little bit time consuming, but it's something I enjoy. So what I'm trying to do now is to do just like you're saying, niche down, so that I would continue to have my fun jobs, which is working with the solopreneurs. And I get a lot of referrals and new people and stuff that way, but having some sort of a niche that I can specialize in. That's why I was thinking about the home healthcare, because I've got 3 of them now. And
Okay.
so, you know, and there's not that many people that are out. It's a very big industry, but it's not saturated with marketing people. You know, so I'm thinking about saying that. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do, and hopefully get some pointers and so forth in here, because I have no intention of giving up 100% my non-specific niche, because, like, so from my point of view, solopreneurs are a niche, but I really need to expand if I want to, you know, have more revenue, which I would like to have.
Sure. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and your niche is basically a stage of business, Like
Mhm.
it's, where they're solopreneurs are starting out. And yeah, that's great. And I love the idea, by the way, that home healthcare is a great business. It's a good one to be in. So, when the way here, I'll go a little step further on niching down. So I say the most optimal business is niching by industry, which is what you're talking about. And the reason being is because before, as an agency, because we would build everything out, we build funnels, we build automations, we do all that stuff. So a lot of it was custom if we had to start over again. Here, with a specific niche that we're in, it used to take us probably about 10 working hours for our team to build everything out, right? To write out copy, write out messaging, make sure everything's good. At least 10 hours. Because every new business that came in, we'd have to start over again. Okay, tell us about your business, who's your customer, what are you doing? It's completely different businesses. But now, we literally, within 45 minutes of them paying us, we can have their ads live. That's because we have templated out what we know works. We've figured out exactly what we need to do. It's copy and paste, copy and paste. We can still customize it to them with their photos and location and stuff like that. But when we figured out how to copy and paste stuff, not only can we reduce our labor, like you said, Clark, you want to be able to work with a lot more people. To be able to do that, if you can copy and paste it, that's the best way to do it. And you deal with the same problems every single time. By the time you get to your 50th customer, 30th customer, you've already done it a million times. And it's like in 2 seconds, you can say, here's what you need. And the best part there too, when you have a lot of customers in the same niche, you can literally use all of them as testing. Like you can test something with 3, 4, 5 people. If it works really well, you can send it to everybody else. Immediately, you solve one problem. You solve all of your 50 clients' problems at the same time. And that's a really cool thing. So I love being able to do that. But yeah, I love it. I love that direction you're taking. That's amazing. Awesome. Cool. Anything else come up for other people?
Yeah, I've struggled with niche selection for such a long time and I gave up. I couldn't pick. And so I finally just said, I'm just gonna just get into it and just trust that as I go through the process, if a niche really becomes apparent for me, but I'm kind of like Clark. I like working with individuals. I like the variety. I get bored with, I did niche before and I got really bored after a while. And it's more about the relationship and the individual and then creating that foundation. And I'm not necessarily at this point in my life really interested in scaling. I'm more interested in a lifestyle business. And that means having 20 to 30 clients that I'm really, happy to serve and be able to balance that with being able to enjoy my life. So, but like I said, I understand everything you guys are talking about. And I think it would be great to have that one path and then really, just do that really, really well. And then be able to charge more for it. But I don't know. I just, there has not been one area that's been magnetic that I feel, compelled to just, completely get into. But I figured if that's going to happen, it's going to happen organically through the work as I evolve.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you for saying that too. This is a really important topic. So first of all, you guys, you have full control over what you want to do. And what I'm talking about here is strictly if you want efficient business where you can scale up, or if you want an efficient business where it doesn't take a lot of your hours, as an enterprise value for the business, that's the ideal way to go. I am definitely the person that loves looking at new things. I'm shiny object king. It is so fun for me. And honestly, I sometimes get bored. And that's probably what happened too. But, a couple of years ago when I was dealing with that stuff, I was like, you know what? I just want something new. I just did the same thing 300 times the last 3 weeks. Give me something new. Give me a new problem. And yeah, like that happens too. You focus down, you get really good. You got the great business, but if you're not enjoying it, no, it's not worth it. But yeah, for sure. I think that's a really great point. And, build the business how you want to build it. You can build the lifestyle around it. The one thing that I always say is, if you have a really efficient business, and you have an easy way to bring in customers, that gives you the flexibility and the time to do what you really like doing. So that's how I like looking at it. If you can focus on the one thing, get really good at the industry and do that. But I'll tell you, I worked with over 35 different industries before I decided to niche. So yeah, there is definitely a process to finding your niche too. And maybe you never do. Maybe there is not a niche for you, right? That's okay. But yeah, it really comes down to really what you want to do. To me, I just see it as is the best way to have the highest margin, the least amount of work, and it lets me actually focus on the thing I want to do. But yes, inherently, it gets boring for sure. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think it's really important to talk about. Cool. Awesome. I think I saw a chat. Kelly, we are SaaS. We talk to our niche, but still have other customers in different niches. They still come to us. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Kelly, did you want to talk to that? I know this was a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I was just more or less saying like niching in your marketing doesn't always impact the customer base that you have. Like we talk to direct sellers, but we have crafters, we have coaches, we have other industries. So I found when Nikki and I got really nitty gritty with our marketing, it really impacted the influx of people coming to us, but we were still getting people outside of our niche just because they were interested in what we offered. So niching doesn't always take away other niches from you.
Love that. Yep, absolutely. Once you start putting yourself out there, I've seen the most random industries come to us. You know, it could be the most, let's see, what's the most random we've worked with? Okay, so we worked with a roller coaster construction company. All they do is work with theme parks and they build roller coasters. How random is that, right? We were not even in the home services niche, nowhere close to it. So yeah, that's Kelly hit the nail on the head too. When you start focusing down, you will still have other opportunities. Just because you feel like I felt this before. I didn't want to niche for the longest time because I felt like I was turning down opportunities that were available to me. And I felt like that was such a waste for me to turn down money, turn down opportunities like that. But once you niche down, you realize that there's way more opportunities available to you, both in the niche and like what Kelly's saying, other people are going to come to you as well. So yeah, at the end of the day, I want you guys to realize that it's more important that you decide on something and work to it and work through it. You know, it's like every industry has its problems. Every industry has its ups and downs, pros and cons. And, you know, there's never going to be a perfect niche. It doesn't exist. It really comes down to, you know, like they say, it's not about the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And that's really what matters. So yeah, hopefully that helps there. Awesome. Any other thoughts that come up? And outside of any thoughts of what we just talked about too, if you guys have any burning agency questions in general, we can open up to that now as well.
Yeah, so I have a question about an upcoming appointment that I just looked at my email at in this meeting, and the chiropractor got back to me, who's in the BNI group, and since it's a warm contact, like how should I go about like working with him, and like should like I looked at his website already. It's not like the greatest and stuff like that. Should I just go all in with the offer that like I've been presenting? Like do I use the SWAS or do I use SaaS pretty much? Like I'm like kind of like, do I go in with my entry offer with the SaaS and then upsell him to like more of a SWAS and work with him as we set up his system and stuff like that? Because he's a pretty like popular chiropractor in the area. Like he's really good. So I'm really don't want to mess anything up. So I don't want to like push anyone away. So like what's your recommendation?
Here's a question, and you may not know the answer, which might be your answer. What do they need the most? What do they really need you to provide for them to succeed?
I'm not really sure yet because I haven't really talked to him about his problem, and I'm new to that niche still too. And
Okay.
I remember Charles saying to be like, "Hey, just tell them that you're new and stuff like that," and you know they'll want to work with you and stuff. So
Yeah, that's good. So you answered the question perfectly. So since you're not sure yet, if you're selling a service or product, it's in your best interest and their best interest to figure out what they actually need. We don't want to sell them something that's not what they really need. And here's the best part. when you go in, I don't want you to start with pitching your product. I want you to ask them questions, find out exactly what they're doing, exactly what they need. Because at the end of the day, I want you to be 100% confident that now that you have contacts on what they need, that you can go all in on that one service. I'd hate for you to go in thinking, okay, this is the product I'm going to sell them, when you don't even know what they need. Remember, it's about them. It's about making sure we can deliver for them. And once you have that part of it right, the sales process becomes much easier. I totally get it. Like for me, I used to get nervous on sales calls and be like, well, okay, how am I going to navigate this? What if they say that? Like, what am I to present them? What are the numbers? But what I found out is I'm thinking of myself and how I'm going to present to them, but really I need to make sure that I know what they need. Because once you do that, man, the confidence just comes, because it's like, oh, okay, so you already have a CRM. Okay, maybe you don't need SaaS, or maybe you don't need SaaS. Maybe you need an agency service, or maybe the other way around, right? So it also helps you, with confidence too. But yeah, I wouldn't go in there with a preconceived conception. If you don't have it, I think you do. I would know fully well in your mind what those two services look like, price wise, and all that stuff ahead of time, so what it looks like when you get to it, instead of just randomly coming up with the numbers. But yeah, the answer is ask questions, find out what they really need, and let them tell you exactly what they want to buy from you.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I definitely will do that. Because I also would want to get other kind of referrals from him too, and get after I get him some results and stuff, because we pretty much lead in with like the calendar system and the missed call text back essentially, and then we pretty much like touch up their website and make it all like conversion optimized friendly. So that's pretty much like I have a hard time kind of solidifying that as like a outcome or offer, because I don't want to be like, oh, this and that, because it's like so many different pieces. But I guess that, like what you said, ask him the questions, and then that will help me come up with like, hey, well, we can help you come up with like a form that qualifies your patients beforehand, right?
Yeah, well, let's get tactical. So walk me through that again. So you do missed call, text back, and what else do you do?
We do landing page conversion optimization.
Okay, so CRO, conversion rate optimization. So what does that mean to you?
We go and we like if they're like buttons all the way at the bottom of the page, we adjust the structure so it's above the fold. We make sure their call to action's clear, headline is direct, so it makes people just like book an appointment right away. And then we also, besides the missed call text back, is the intake form for the survey, so it qualifies people who are just like going to their website who are ready to book now.
Okay, awesome. So CRO, which is more of an agency service type thing. Is that
Yeah, it's kind of like we do it on the setup with them usually, like because
Okay.
we do like a $297 setup fee usually.
Okay. So then, so walk me through that. So that's what you're considering the SaaS, the missed call, text back, and CR? Okay. What would be the other option then?
The other option would be 30 plus prepaid appointments in the next 90 days. So that's database reactivation, paid ads, and review campaigns for 30 days.
Review campaigns. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So let me ask you, we've got these two options. Let's zoom out and let's say that you're them. What are some questions or what are some differences between one client or the other, where one needs your SaaS and one needs your SLAS? Like, what are some examples?
Maybe they already have a lot of patients that they're working with, and they don't want to really take on too many more patients, like because they're already pretty much popular. So maybe they just need more of like a community feature, or just like a survey or something like that. That just qualifies them more, like a better, robust booking system.
Okay. So if they have plenty of patients already, then you might be able to help them with the reviews and what they're doing now already.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So plenty of patients. And then what else? What's another scenario that a client might need your SLAS or your SaaS, I mean?
I believe bringing in more patients. So like maybe they have an email list, like what we learned is the database reactivation and stuff,
Mhm.
in the bonus section. we run really good email campaigns for just regular retail clients like already. So I feel like we would do a really good job with someone who's already like an established business, like a chiropractor, to be like, hey, come back for adjustment, you know, like $50 off, right? Something like that.
Okay. So an established business that already has plenty of patients, you'd recommend which one, the SaaS or the SWAS?
Plenty of patience is a SaaS.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Cool. So then what would be a good question? This is an obvious question, by the way. What would be a good question to ask them to find out if they'd be better for SLAS or SaaS?
Pretty much, are you interested in getting 30 plus more patients in the next 90 days? Do you have any more room for that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's perfect. And, questions like that, and you can phrase it, like, well, how many patients do you have now? Do you have capacity for more?
Mm.
And then do you want more? If they say, man, we're maxed out, we can't hire people to handle everything, then there's your answer. Like, they don't need that. They just need to be better at what they're doing now. But if they say, yeah, there's a gap, we're trying to fill that gap, and that should be a good sign for like, okay, cool. So we do have an option where we can actually help you get more additional patients. Is that something that sounds right in alignment with what you're looking for? You can ask it in that way, and boom, there's your conversation switcher. Like, you can go right into the actual product or service. So start with something like that. Just ask a simple question, ask them where they're at, and then you say, okay, great. So, Bill, you told me that you were looking for more appointments and get more patients. So we actually have a service that can do exactly that. In fact, our offer is we can get you 30 plus prepaid appointments, and whatever the rest of the pitch was. So does that sound like something that you're looking for specifically right now? And just find out. If they say yes, and great, awesome. Let me show you what that looks like. We do this, this, and this, right? But if they say no, we're not looking for that. We're kind of maxed out. You say, awesome. Well, we do have this option where we can actually get you more reviews. We can help you, do whatever the other stuff that you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that give some clarity into how to take the call?
Yes, absolutely. That gives me that. I love the phrasing that you use, because I was always like having trouble picking the right words to use it, because I didn't want to come off too like pushy or salesy, but the way that you worded it made it flow a lot more naturally, instead of making it seem like, hey, like we're just trying to get some sales and stuff like that, because obviously we want to get the sale, but we also want to deliver the result with them too. And we do have like snapshots ready, and we're going to use Extendly to onboard and stuff like that too. So I love that. That's really great. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. I'll say this too. You won't get the sale unless you ask them what they want.
Got it.
Unless they know you're actually listening. The best salesperson is a guide. It's a guide to walking them through where they need to go, or how they need to get to where they want. Right. So if you don't ask the question to find out, I could tell you, Chris, I want to fly. You say, okay, well, you want me to throw you off a cliff, or do you want to like jump on a plane? Like, what do you want? And, it's kind of a funny contrast of a story, but like, it's still real. Everybody has their own idea of what they want. And at this stage, we don't know what they want. And, it may look like they have this problem, maybe they don't. So when you ask the question, only then will they actually listen to you. Because if you come in pitching something, say we've got this 30 plus 3 prepaid appointments, that you're just pushing a product on them. The other way is, I hear you, and this sounds like what you're looking to do is get more patients. Is that what you're saying? And when you have that framing, it's not you're a salesperson trying to push your product. It's I'm your guide, and this sounds like the best fit for you. And by the way, there's a third option where that doesn't make sense for them at all for any of your services. That's also an option. Sounds like you probably help them though, but that's there too. So just ask questions, and that'll get you there, and just make sure you have those two options really solidified. So when you do go that direction, just you can just lay it out like you've practiced.
Got it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, because I pretty much have a marketing audit on my landing page, and it asks them. It's like a little bit of the lead generation playbook that High Level gives you or whatever, and I mixed in some of my like niche down questions in it. And I think like after I asked them that qualification about like getting more patients or not, or like having opportunity for that. Essentially, what we would just offer them is like, do you have like the system that will call them right back? Do you have a system that like listens to the conversations on the phone? You know, I think that's a better way to transition it too. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, start from the beginning. Start from the beginning of what is your problem right now? What's top of mind for you? Start there. Start with that question. Because
Okay.
I love the idea of, I mean, yes, that's a leading question, which is great. You know, like what's the do you have a missed call text back system? Do you have a calendar system? Those are good. But that's not the first question. The first question is, what is the pain right now that you're experiencing? Like what do you really need to solve right now? And then you can go from there. Because the other stuff, you're just presupposing again. You're just being a salesperson again. You
Got it.
really need
Okay.
to find out what they want. Like, for me, for our business, maybe 10 years ago, I needed leads. Today, that is not what I need. Today, I need better branding. I need better systems on the back end to be able to handle the influx of leads we've got, right? But there's also big businesses that don't have enough leads, and you won't know until you find out, and they won't know that you're just not selling them. So yeah, Kelly hit it right there. Yeah, ask him his biggest pain point. That's right. Start with the pain point and then go from there.
Got it. No, thank you for that, and thank you for catching that. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Anybody else have any other questions? Any other thoughts that came up? We talked about the agency business. We could talk about prospecting, getting leads coming in the door, handling sales calls, objections, how to deliver for them. Nothing is off limits. Okay. Cool. All right. So here's what I'd like for everybody to do who's still here. So if we don't actually look at the past lessons that we should have learned, let me rephrase this. One of my other favorite quotes is, learning is not experience. Learning is evaluated experience. You can't get better at something if you just let something happen and you don't look at what happened and how to fix it for the future. Stuff happens to us every day, all day. Fires happen and occur. If we don't stop and try to figure out what it is that we're doing wrong, and truly fix it, and we just say ignore it, we can't get any better at that. So here's what I'd like for you to do. Please put in the chat if there's something that came up from what I just talked about earlier, or something that happened that that's a pain point for you right now. Maybe you haven't solved it yet, or you're still trying to figure out what's going on with it. What's the current pain point right now that's still kind of in your mind, but you've kind of been avoiding it? You haven't really paid attention to it. It could be an ad that you haven't written up that you know you need to. Prospect that you haven't reached out to yet, but you need to. What's something that's top of mind right now for you? Getting clients as a newbie in SaaS. Yeah. What's top of mind for you guys right now? What's something that you're avoiding that you know you need to get done? There you go. What are you avoiding that you know you need to do? Remy, do you want to talk about how to get that first SaaS client?
Yes, so I'm still new to the SaaS world and go high level. So I only have 2 clients right now through family and friends. But how to go out there to meet other clients has been like a main challenge for me right now. So although I plan to start moving out to different local businesses this month of May to prospect clients, have those conversations with them. Then we take it off from there. That is what I plan from this week. That is what I want to start doing. I want to see how that is going to plan out, because I also learned that at the beginning, it won't be wise for me to like pump too much money into advert, maybe Facebook ad or Google ads and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
So I just want to know, to learn from people like you and from all the people that we have here right now. For newbie, how do you approach, getting more clients into the business?
Hmm. So, yeah, good question. So how, just so I have clarity, what would you say that you were setting up? You were, you have a couple clients. How did you get those couple clients?
Through, I reached out through my friends, family members, and all. So I got those two into the business.
Okay, awesome. I'll start with a couple ideas. So the first thing you can do is definitely warm market, which is what you did. Let me give you another example of something you can do just to start out to get your first clients. So I did training a couple weeks ago for how to do LinkedIn outreach. Who's your audience right now? Who do you want to work with? Let me ask it that way.
Yes, like it will still boils down to my first question about niching down, because I'm still new. I don't know like which business I might get. I don't know. Right now, I'm just throwing the net open to whichever clients that comes in. Then from there, once I understand each of those niches, then I'll be able to like stick to one and now niche down to that specific niche. That's what is coming to my head, because I don't know what I don't know who else I'm going to meet. Currently, I have somebody that is into immigration consulting. Then I have another one who is into car wash. So, but I need to like move out there to meet all those local businesses. Mm-hmm. And from there, I'll be able to know which one will be more that I can, stick with within the niches, then go deep down into it. But right now, I'm just open to anyone that I can solve their business problems for.
Okay, I love that. Well, we'll keep it very simple. So it's okay to keep exploring at this stage. It's perfectly fine. So I'll give you a couple tactical ideas, and I'll give you kind of a way to think about things too. So the first thing, do you have a job now, or did you have a job prior in a certain industry that you might have some knowledge in?
Yes, I have a job right now. I work with one of the financial institutions, although I'm in Canada. Mm-hmm. So then I'm basically into data analytics for the financial institution, and that is what I do currently. But I'm also trying to build up something by the side, and eventually once I can get it started running properly, then I can decide to leave my 9-to-5 job and focus more on the business.
That's great. Yeah. Well, that's one thing maybe to think about, the industry that you're in now. That could be an option. What I usually say is, if there's an industry that you have some knowledge in, or if you have some contacts in an industry, you could consider trying that first. So there's a couple ideas there, but let me give you something tactical. Do you have a current Facebook page right now, or do you have a personal Facebook page?
I have personal.
You do? Okay. So one of the things I like doing, and I recommend when starting out, is create what I call a mission post. So a mission post is basically something that you put on your page, and you just say, I'm on a mission to help business owners with their get better conversations, or reply to leads faster, or whatever the chatbot does. Figure out what that thing is. Actually, can you tell me what is the goal of the chatbot?
So right now, chatbot is just part of it. Like, I can do missed call text back. I could do like database reactivation. Everything that Go High Level offers. Yeah. But specifically, when you talk about AI, I have masters in artificial intelligence and all. So, but I just want, and what I also learned is not just to throw about all the names of the software to clients, but how would those applications solve their problems? So like you mentioned earlier on, trying to understand their pain points will be better than just throwing them that you have AI that could solve this or that. So
Yes.
when you try to understand them better and you understand the business, then you can now like introduce some solutions around those problems.
Okay, that's great. Yes, it's around the pain points. Are you able to post on your personal page? I know you have, since you have work or you have a job as well. Are you comfortable posting something about this other thing?
Except if I want to create like maybe business page, because really from the place of work, you're not allowed to do something extra.
Yeah,
You need to
okay.
get maybe regulatory approval or something, and it has to go up there before you can pivot into that kind of thing. So I'll decide to keep it separate from me personally. Like I've created maybe Instagram, then created another page for on LinkedIn. So those are there, but I've not started, putting things out there to, push out the message as well too.
Okay, yeah, it makes complete sense. So yeah, that's perfect. You create those pages, that's awesome. Invite as many people as you can that's safe within the safe, network. There's going to be typically quite a few people that are not like close friends, but you're kind of connected with them. Invite them to the page, have them go in there. And then I would create, just me personally, I would create a post once a week and say, I'm on a mission to help business owners grow their business with AI. Or I'm on a mission to help business owners avoid losing leads because they can't reply back fast enough, or whatever the pain point you come up with. And if you post that once a week, so first week is I'm on a mission to do this. And then at the very end, just say, if you know anybody, please tag them or let me know. I'd love to help them. And then next week, same thing, just reword it a little bit. Just say, I'd love to help business owners who have the XYZ problem. Does anybody know anybody? And just post those things and, invite all the people in there. This is hitting your warm market again, right? Because you're not going to get a lot of strangers coming and seeing that, but just invite all the people in there. Just get the ball rolling in some way. And it was great that you got people through your warm market. I mean, you can reach out to them as well and say, hey, do you happen to know anybody? Do you have anybody else I can help with? Do free audits. Offer as many things as you can put out there is the best. That's how I'd start. If there was no money involved and you just had to get something going, but you got to keep it separate, that's one idea. The next step beyond that too is posting in groups of business owners and do the same type of thing. Mission post. Make sure you follow the rules of the group. But if you put something in there and say, hey, I'm doing a free audit, if anybody wants help, just make sure the admin is okay with that, and you can even message them. That's another opportunity for you. That just gets you in front of more people. But just keep along that track and keep it very simple. There's 100 advanced techniques we can go, but just do something. Get in front of these people and talk about what you can do. Does that help?
Sure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome. Cool. Let's see. Any other questions? Do you remember what training that was for the LinkedIn outreach? Yes. Okay. So this was actually an announcement. I'm not sure if it was announced today, but I'm just going to give the secret away, guys. So in your portal now, we now have replays of all the calls that we've had in the past. So the section, I haven't even been told where it is in the portal, but it's in the portal now. You can access the trainings. There's one, I think they're labeled for LinkedIn outreach. It was about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. But you can check that out. And as always, you can come to these calls and ask me specific questions too. I'm here to support you guys. If you need something specific, if you're working on something, I can talk it out with you guys. So yeah, that's in there. Check your portal for that stuff and you should be good to go. Oh, Allison said, taking a deep breath and doing cold outreach. Maybe two deep breaths and you'll be good. You'll be good, Allison. I love it. Awesome. Well, Does anybody have any other final questions before we wrap it up for today? Last Q&A question, if you want.
I do.
Yep, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. This Nikki wants to go. That's fine.
Oh, I think it was two.
I'm on a call. I just have it on my earbud. So, do you need something?
Nikki, you're off mute. I don't know if you were talking to us, but did you have a question? Okay, all right. Yeah, I think that was my mistake. Danielle?
So I'm going to start prospecting next week. And my plan is to do a cold email for database reactivation. On AppSumo, I picked up some really cool tools, and one of them is like this video that I do one video, but I can scale by it shows it to I can scale with the video because I upload a list of prospects and it'll show their website information and everything. But I wanted to kind of tease the prospecting report that's through High Level and use that video tool. So the prospect will get a video email and I kind of tease the report and then invite them to meet with me so we can review it and go from there. And then the other thing I wanted to do is cold call local businesses and see if I can generate, local connections. So that's kind of the plan I wanted to do. I guess I just didn't know whether to kind of hit it all at the same time, or should I focus on one thing and then just really focus on that one thing and then once I get that up and running, hit the next thing, or what would you suggest? I'm kind of all in. I've kind of got all the social media ready to go. I've got the website ready to go. I'm testing and getting a few kinks done this week. And then that's it. After that, I'm all in. I'm ready to prospect and work with clients. So what would you suggest in terms of, how to set that up? How to make that work best?
Let's start with this. So you're all in, so that makes sense. Let's start with, right now you're looking for new customers, right? So the best way to get new customers is to get as many conversations as you possibly can going, right? So I guess the question is, which opportunity or which action would get you the most potential opportunities to start? Most number of conversations.
Well, I would imagine the video, email, and the cold calling.
Okay. All right. So between those two, which one do you think could get you potentially in front of a lot more people than the other one?
The cold calling, probably because, I'm local, I can, I'm definitely planning to work from home, but I can certainly go out and meet clients locally as well. I like the idea of having a few clients local for sure.
Okay. Well, here's what I think. I think you could do both, but I would focus on one and get really good at it as fast as you possibly can. Since you're all in, you got to go fast, right? And fast is whatever pace you define it, of course. But with cold calling, one thing I've found with cold calling is it's a great way to prospect. You're going to have a lot of calls and not a lot of conversations in the beginning, even if they're local businesses, right? It's going to be limited in conversation. If you do the cold email outreach, it's kind of a set and forget it in a way. Is that right? Okay. So my recommendation is, if it's set it and forget it, why not build that out, get that really honed in, then it'll lend you to doing the cold outreach while the other machine is running for you.
Right.
So that might be one way to look at it. Also, I would continue to look at your cold outreach and continue to tweak that with the right messaging, with the right video, the right email subject. You can literally double or triple the amount of replies that you get just by continuing to tweak that. So I don't want it to be a completely set and forget it, but go back as often as you can and think through, okay, is this working? Can I make it better? But that'd be one thing I would just look at. Just, if you get the set and forget it thing, have a machine running along with you, the machine,
Right.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like I have a few different ways of going about it, and that's what I'm saying. It's just like, how do I, structure this? But I get what you're saying, get the cold part going, because it is set and forget to some extent. And I was actually thinking about doing it for the database reactivation and the chatbots. I have the landing pages on all that ready to go. And then I was going to do the free prospecting report with the video email thing.
Mhm.
So cold calling I've done quite a bit in the past, so I'm really comfortable cold calling, and
That's great.
and I've gotten a lot of good business cold calling. So, and it's fun. I enjoy it. Plus, I kind of have to get the marbles out of my mouth. My prior profession, I could talk in my sleep, right? But now I find myself stuttering when I try to explain stuff. So it would be good to cold call and talk to people, so I can get them out of my mouth. So, I sound a little smoother and not as
Knock it
awkward.
out. Yeah, I love that. That's great. You are definitely in the X%, 5%, 1% of people who can actually do the cold calling, and you're comfortable and you love doing it. That's amazing. I love that. So yeah, I would say personally, get the cold calling machine or cold emailing machine going for you, so you have a second salesperson out there while you're doing the active stuff.
Okay.
I think that sequence is great, and it won't take you too long to do that stuff. You
Right.
know, it
Yeah.
could take a day. If you really focused on it, you could just do it in a day.
Yeah, I have it all set up. I just have to, basically fine tune my messaging and, just start seeing what happens with it, and then, gauge it and then, split test the headlines and all that kind of stuff. So, all right.
Is it set up right now? Like, is it?
Yeah, I got all the accounts set. I have the email accounts, everything's all set up. I got everything warmed. I'm using this wonderful another AppSumo tool I bought a long time ago, and I just never bothered with it. And then now, I mean, it's going for like almost $1,000 a month, so I scored.
Wow. Nice.
And I have, and then I took a class, a course with somebody who's really done well with database reactivation. And so he basically shared what his cold email template looks like and what's worked for him. And so he was going through the whole process and talking about all these really technical, advanced technical interactions. And I'm like, oh, I've got this tool that does all that. So it's all ready to go. I just need to put in the template and the connections and then get it to the landing page, and then being able to connect with people and,
Okay.
and in that regard, I think I might focus on specific niches for the database reactivation.
I think it'd be great. Okay, let me ask you this. So just as kind of a quasi challenge question, is there anything that would prevent you from going live with that today?
Today?
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay,
there
let's
is. I have a little hiccup on my website. So I just got it activated and I'm working out the little final tweaks and everything. So I guess you were asking earlier what your holdup is. Mine is trying to make sure everything's perfect, because I can't have anything look bad when somebody shows up, and nobody cares, they just basically, what do you offer? Can I trust you? Are you going to do a good job? But I'm just like, insecure. And so until I actually get busy and start working with people and start building my confidence with it. But I think the thing is that the chatbot on my website, it's there, it's working on the back end, but for whatever reason, High Level is showing a blank screen on the front. So I'm waiting for tech support to help me figure this out, because it's kind of stumped everybody at this point. So that's my little holdup. Just somebody coming to the website. And then, here I am, trying to present myself as somebody who's doing AI marketing, and my chatbot is not active. So I do want that, operative before I really start getting out there.
Interesting. Okay. Well, so you're waiting on High Level at this point, you're saying?
Yeah, I have the chatbot people and then High Level. So they're basically just trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this. It's stupid, but it's somebody will figure it out. We'll get it right. Plus, mentally, I just want to kind of fine tune a few things, take a day off, and then really get in headspace and kind of just, because I've been in the background getting everything ready, right? And so there is this thing where I basically said to myself, okay, Tuesday morning, you know, I'm out in the world presenting myself now in this new capacity. And so it's like everything's geared towards May 7th and then getting out there and, you know, retooling. It's been a big deal for me, you know, changing everything. You know, I've done digital marketing now for 12 years. I've done local SEO, websites, social media marketing. So I have, you know, a good background with all that. But the AI pivot, which I really love, but I'm still trying to figure out, and then trying to get my head around, you know, high level and, you know, incorporating chatbots and paid ads and everything. It's a new animal, but, you know, once I get, you know, some clients in and start getting my feet wet with all of it, I'll find my way.
Okay, I love it. Let me ask you this last thing, and then we'll wrap up here. What would happen if you did push the email campaign live, and you started getting responses? Are people responding to the email, or are you trying to push them to a page?
Well, I think the bottom line would be to set up a time to get together and talk. So it would be taking them to a page with, you know, you know, some interaction via email, but then getting them to a booking page for the most part, so I can really show them how it works. The key is really getting to a demo.
Okay, but step one is them replying to your email. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. And then the gentleman who's done really well with it, like he's really provided a wonderful template. And so now I just need to kind of focus, and it's not complicated, you know, like cold emails, it's not, you know, wordy. So it's just a matter of figuring out exactly how I want to do it, and then what I want to split test, and then, you know, which it'll probably be home services of some form, those niches, you know, like roofers, solar, etc. And then basically setting it out and then just monitoring and seeing what happens, and then, you know, fine tuning it as I go.
Okay. So what if you just picked one niche right now and just picked like out of a hat? How soon could you get that part ready?
I think it would probably be general contractors. I mean, with that, we could have it within hours.
Okay. That sounds good. I mean, you said one thing you told me, which is why I'm sticking to this question, is you said you like the perfection of things, and I'm 100% that way too. Like, I don't want to turn anything live until it's perfect. But when I start, I realize they find more problems that I never would have thought of my own. So
Yeah.
I need them to tell me what's wrong instead of me trying to figure it out on my own. So I was just trying to figure out a way, if there's a way to get you out live sooner. It's going to take days, if not weeks, for you to get your first replies coming in anyway.
Right.
All I'm wondering is, why not get something live now? And
Okay.
high level's going to do high levels thing. You start
Okay.
getting that activity going. It's kind of like if I were to ask you to start cold calling 3 months from now versus today, you know, why wait? There's going to be kinks. You got the marbles in your mouth. You get all the things.
Yeah.
You got to push through it. I know that part's still on high level, but anyway, just a thing to think about. I tend to do the same thing too, which is why I was asking. So anyway, just a few ideas.
No, it's a good point, and I think you're right. I think, like I said, it's just this part of me that's just wanting to get everything set up. You know, it's like I'm getting ready for the party, and then the
Mhm.
party starts on Tuesday. You know?
Yeah. Well,
But you're
yeah, for
right.
sure.
There's no reason I couldn't get the cold email up and running, because that you're right. I probably won't have any real face-to-face until you know, after a while.
Yeah, and the thing too is, one thing you don't know is maybe one of your party goers is actually allergic to apple juice, and you brought the apple juice only, and you won't know. You won't know until they come in. Uh, anyway, well, that's awesome. Is there any other clarification I can give for you? Or was that helpful enough?
That was good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap this up for today. If you guys have any questions, please post in the group. Also, do me a favor, please. Go in the Facebook group right now as soon as we hang up, and just post your one takeaway from today. Again, if we don't evaluate what it is that we learned, it's not an actual learning. So please post in the Facebook group. Feel free to tag me. I'll see you guys next week, Thursday at 4 o'clock. See you guys.